Why does it feel like the older we get, the harder it is for us to want more or to want something that is different from what we already have? Like we feel guilty that we're not being content or grateful, or we feel selfish for wanting to put our own needs first. Welcome back to another episode of Small Girl, Big Talk. My name is Wendy, and this podcast is a space where real conversations meet personal growth. Specifically, I personally am entering a season where I am rebuilding my life in my 30s, and I'm also coaching other women to do the same thing. So I really want to share more of the experiences that I go through, the thought process, and the mindset shifts that we have in navigating this season of our life. And in today's episode, I really want to touch about this guilt and this selfishness that we have in our mind for wanting more in our late 20s or in our 30s or even in our 40s. Like, why do we feel so bad or feel so hard to just want more in our life? And I want to start by talking about the why, because I feel like a lot of this hardness comes from an expectation of how things should have looked like by this stage of our lives, right? All of us, regardless of where you grow up at, whether it's an Asian culture or a Western culture, I feel like there is this collective understanding that by the age of 30, you should have already had things figured out. Like by now, you should have already have a relationship that is stable, that you probably should have been either engaged or married or even already having your first kid or second kid. And career-wise, we always talk about how your 20s is the phase for you to figure things out, to know what you want, what you not want, to make mistakes. And by 30s, you should have it all figured out. And in life as well, like, I don't know about you, but for me being an Asian, there's this thought that like, I really want to provide for my parents and to kind of repay them for all the care that they have given me throughout my life, because I am so grateful. Like there's so many expectations that by this stage of our lives, we should have been already there. And I feel like as we get older, we have this bigger sense of appreciation of the people around us as well. And this bigger sense of gratitude as well of everything that we already have. Because as we get older, we've seen more of life and we've experienced more. Perhaps by now, you have attended a few funerals of people that you love. Like for me personally, in the last 5 to 10 years, I've been through quite a lot. I've lost precious people in my life, my cousins, my friend, my uncle, my grandparents, my auntie. I've also been through severe depression and PTSD, and I had to work through it. And I'm also seeing friends or, just being there for friends who are also going through mental illnesses. And I personally also fell down and fractured my backbone. I've been through a lot. And this is just my personal experience. I'm sure you have been through a lot as well. Like the older you get, life just happens and you just experience more of life, and it makes you appreciate life more and appreciate the people around you more. But that also comes in a way where you feel this sense of urgency, like, oh my God, my parents are getting older. Like I need to make more money to take them to travel before it's too late. I want to spend more time with them before it's too late. Like there's also this sense of urgency that I need to be quick with my action before I regret it. I feel like that is why things get harder when we are older. But get this. As much as in our head, there is so much of this expectations that we have for our own lives. One thing that you would also realize by now is that life does not happen in a linear manner for most of us. You might think that you need to get a good job, make more money, get a house, get a car, get married, have kids. But for a lot of people, and you would have noticed this by now yourself, is that sometimes something may happen first and something may happen after. So I'll just give you a few different examples from the people that I know in my personal life. Okay, I'm not gonna name names, but I think sharing with you these few examples will kind of show you that like our timeline is always very mixed up. Let's start with person A. Person A got married at a very young age to a very successful, accomplished person as well. And both of them built their career and had a very steady growth. They were able to buy the house of their dreams. They made a lot of money and got to travel around the world a lot. But what happened was she caught her partner cheating on her twice. Like she gave him chance, but it didn't work out. And then it happened again. And now, before the age of 40, they're filing for a divorce. Like suddenly, this person who seemed to have everything figured out is having a setback on the relationship end and probably have to start over again if she chooses to still pursue romance and relationships in her life. So that's person A. Person B also built a very successful career, successfully exited the business, happily married for a few years, but guess what? She has cancer and has to remove both of her ovary and will not be able to have kids again. Yes, that happened. And let's get into person C. Person C did not have an easy head start in her adulthood. Right after graduation, she struggled with mental illness, and because of that, had to take a setback in her career. And not only that, there were family financial situations that she had to get into. So financially, she was also being set back. But she's worked all through her 20s to figure things out and finally built something for herself by the age of 30. And she met someone and she got married. But at this stage, when everyone seemed to have figured out their career, she is still trying to build her finances and her career because she's still a lot more behind than everyone else. The reason why I am sharing the story of this three-person with you is to really remind you that we are all on different timeline and there is no point comparing your journey to someone else's journey because where you started is different from where that other person started, and the experiences that you've been through, the action that you have taken you to different places where you get different results in different areas of your life. And the main reason why I want to remind you of this different timeline is then to let you know that since we are all on different timeline, we are all at our own pace, that means that we can still craft our life based on where we are right now to get to where we want to be. There is no point holding ourselves back because of the should haves or the should be, because there really isn't a should have or a should be. We are exactly where we are meant to be right now. Based on the information that you have right now, you can choose to decide whether you are going to play it safe and stay wherever you are and let your fear guide your decisions because of the should haves and the should be and putting everyone else's needs first. Or you can also choose to listen to what you want for yourself and put that as a first. And get this, I understand that feeling of feeling that you are selfish for wanting to put your own needs first because there is your husband or your partner or your kids or your parents to think about. But if these people truly love you, they would understand that you have your life and you have your wants and your desires, and you would want to accomplish them too. Because if they truly love you, they would want you to have what you want. And something that I have learned from my personal experience as I am rebuilding my life towards where I want to be and what I want to have in my life is that as I put my own need first, I realize that the people around me who loves me and sees me, they get it and they want that for me too. If anything, there was this self-judgment in myself that felt like I shouldn't have it, but they are the ones who reminded me that I can and I deserve it. And it was through this external permission. Like I literally have to go talk to my parents, my husband, my business mentor, my friends. I told everyone that I want to quit my job and pursue my dream. And I felt like I was getting permission from them before I even give myself the permission to do it. Sometimes it is that way because we are the biggest critics in our own head. I'm very lucky that people around me sees me for who I am and they just want me to be happy. And I really get it if you are not so lucky that like maybe you are surrounded by people who may tell you that you can't do it or it is too risky, it is too dangerous. But I just want you to maybe challenge that for a bit because people who loves us, they just want us to be safe. They just don't want us to be hurt or they just don't want us to be disappointed. It is also out of love, but maybe it's in a way that makes it feel harder for you to move forward. But sometimes you just gotta push through and challenge that first in order for you to get to a point to reassure them that maybe this risk is worth taking. The deeper I get into this journey of pursuing what I want, the more helpless you might feel, the harder you might feel. But it's also in this process of going through this hardship that you learn to receive from the people around you. There will be a season that you are the one who give and provide and reassure people, but there will also be seasons in your life that you are on the receiving end. And I think we just need to let go of our ego to allow ourselves to be on that end, because I feel like life, it's all about just going through the different spectrums. And going through this season of my life right now, where I'm going through the hardship and I have to ask for help, it is very humbling. But I also felt like me going through this and me receiving help and support from those around me make me want to do better and repay them and also give back to those who are struggling at the time when I am able to provide again. So I just wanted to take this chance to remind you that it is really okay to want more in your life, to want something different in your life, because as we grow, as we experience life, there will be changes that happen. And it is okay to let go of old dreams or old limitations or old expectations that we have and to really embrace something new in our life, because isn't life meant to be experienced? Like, would you rather not change anything right now and regret when you are in your 40s and your 50s that you should have done something? When I told my dad that I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship, my dad spent his whole life being safe because he had to provide for our family. It was a sacrifice that he made. But he told me this. He regret that in his 60s right now, that he did not build anything of his own. And he really wanted that for me. Ooh, I did not expect myself to tear up saying this, but even though it's so hard, it's so scary, and I want to play it safe sometimes, hearing that made me feel like, yes, that's what I want for myself too. And to have that reassurance from someone that I respect and I love so much, I really am very grateful that I had that, and I wanted to share that with you. And I think it's another thing that I want to remind you that it's okay to dream big as well. I feel like as we get older, we play it safe because we have so much more responsibility. But I also want to remind you this, is that like, yes, we have our responsibilities, especially towards the people that we love, whether it's our parents, our partners, or our kids. But you are a responsible person and you love them so much. So I trust that in whatever it is that you are trying to build for yourself in this next season of your life, you would do it responsibility. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow and rebuild everything without knowing where you're headed yet. you can start the baby steps now as you are still in your current reality. You can take the small step of learning more about starting a new social media channel or starting a new side hustle as you are still in your job, as you are still taking care of your kids right now, and take the baby steps. I think we always make things very black and white in our head that like, oh, if I'm going to pursue entrepreneurship, that means I need to let go of everything and I just need to go all in that. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can take gradual steps towards it because it is through these tiny steps that you find more clarity towards where you want to go. So that's all that I wanted to remind you today. And my intention for this episode is to really come from a third person perspective to give you that permission to start wanting more for yourself again. Because I get it. Even though the power is in your hand to give yourself the permission to want more, sometimes you need to hear it from a third person to just feel like, yeah, actually I can do that. Like I'm not being selfish. I'm not being ungrateful and all that. I want you to hear that you have the permission to want more. You have the permission to want to build a life that is different from what you have right now. You are not being ungrateful. You just have this desire and you know that there is so much more to life that you have not experienced and you want that. And it is okay. You should just go pursue it. We will do it responsibly. We will do it at our own pace. We will do it in ways that still allows us to love and care for the people that we love. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. When you start filling your own cup, when you start putting your own needs first, you would actually spread this water, this cup, this love to those around you as well. When you put your own needs first, you are actually doing a service for those around you, for those who love you, because then you are able to give them your full self again. So that's it that I have for you in this episode. If you have listened to the end, I really appreciate you. And I want to invite you to comment below. What are you trying to rebuild in this season in your life again? I would really love to hear from you. And if you have any requests or any questions that you have in your mind that you would love for me to talk about in my podcast, be sure to drop me a DM on my Instagram or wherever social media platform it is that you can find me. I love hearing from you and I love creating content that addresses exactly what you're looking for. And I'm looking forward to see you in my next episode. Be sure to give this a thumbs up, give it a 5-star rating on Spotify, and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye.